You are getting access to something really special over the next 5 weeks. In 2025, I ran a challenge called the Overwhelm Solution Challenge. It was a 5-day challenge for women in public health where I taught and coached them live on how to reduce their overwhelm. We ran it 6 times in 2025. Over 600 women joined that challenge. And now you, my YouTube subscriber, my YouTube viewer, are going to be able to watch those videos. Instead of 5 days in a row, it's going to be 5 weeks in a row. So each Sunday for the next 5 weeks, right here on this YouTube channel, you're going to get access to those videos, those trainings, those lessons. You're going to learn how to reduce your overwhelm, how to get more done in less time, how to create more free time, building boundaries that last, and what to do to succeed in public health right now. So without further ado, let's jump in to today's video from the Overwhelm Solution Challenge. So welcome to the Overwhelm Solution, a 5-day challenge for women in public health to eliminate their overwhelm. Now, I do like to be very clear, we are not eliminating your overwhelm in 1 week. You are learning the tools, you're learning the knowledge of how to eliminate your overwhelm, but this takes time, right? It's not a quick fix. It's not an overnight magic pill. But when you do implement the tools you're going to learn this week, the skills, the knowledge regularly, and it becomes a habit, you do eliminate your overwhelm. And we'll talk more about that and you'll see some examples. Part of the reason I offer this is because working in public health or any helping profession, you should not have to sacrifice your health, your happiness, your relationships to do the great work in the world you all are doing. And the truth is, you don't have to. We all know that in public health, our resources were low to begin with, our workloads were too high to begin with, and now it's just increasing. So I'm so glad you're here because you're going to learn how to address all of that this week. The changes that you want to see in your ability to have more work-life balance, to feel less stressed, to not take stress home, comes not just from being here and learning and listening. It comes from applying what you're learning. We all know this in public health. We can have great theory, but if we don't implement it, it doesn't really matter. And the same thing goes here with you. So I'm going to be teaching you the knowledge and the skills and the tools, but in order to see changes, you have to implement it. And so what we've done this week is there's different points where you will practice that implementation. During these live calls, we have integrated live integration and also through daily, very simple, very easy, quick challenges for you all to participate in. Now, in my coaching program, generally, women who join are in the program for about 6 months, implementing not just what I'm teaching you here this week, but a host of other tools and skills over a 6-month period to really eliminate their overwhelm and their stress and really create the work-life balance. But you all are getting a head start by learning some of this now. Those of you who aren't familiar with me, my name is Marissa McCool. It's great to meet you. I'm also known as a public health burnout coach. I have worked in public health my whole career. I've been in government at the CDC. I've been in academia. I've been in nonprofit. I've done leadership, evaluation, research, you name it. I've probably done something along those lines. And I hit burnout in 2017 before it was a buzzword. It was actually right after Trump took his first presidency office, and I was working in sexual violence prevention, which, if you can remember the context, during the 2016 election, sexual harassment, sexual violence was a big discussion point about what was going on. And so, as you can imagine, a lot of our funding shifted. A lot of what happened in the sexual violence part of public health changed a lot, as some of you might be experiencing now, wherever you work in public health. And I learned how to get out of burnout, even with all the changes that were happening politically and in public health. And I know all of you can too. And I've helped countless women in my program do the same. I really want to encourage you to shut down distractions. Shut down your Teams messages, close out your email, put your phone on silent, close your office door if you have one, so you can be present. You signed up for this and you've shown up live because you know you want to eliminate your overwhelm. You want to feel better, and you made the right choice by doing those things. Now, the next best choice is to be here and participate live. As I said earlier, we're going to have an interactive portion of these daily calls where I'm going to share a reflection question or an activity for you to do on the call, and I want you to drop in the chat. That is part of the implementation process. We're not just doing that for fun, although I'd love to learn more about all of you. It really is designed as an implementation piece, so you're actually going to be able to see changes this week. So here's what we're going to do this week. We're going to learn a 5 simple step framework to overcoming overwhelm. Today, you're going to learn why you're overwhelmed and how to reduce it. It's not because of your job or even what's happening with this administration. Tomorrow, you're going to learn a little bit more about your brain and the neuroscience of your brain. Don't worry, it's not a physiology lesson, but you're going to learn a brain hack to get more done in less time without hustling so you can have more free time back. We're going to build on that on Wednesday, learning how to create more free time so you have the space and energy for things that matter most to you, like working out, meal planning, time with family, hobbies, friends, being present with your kids. Thursday, we're going to talk about why setting boundaries or honoring the boundaries you've tried to set has not worked. There's a missing piece that you probably have not thought about or had someone help you with that you really need essentially to be successful at boundaries. And Friday, you do not want to miss Friday. Everything this week builds in succession up to Friday. We're going to talk about how to create certainty in the face of uncertainty, how to use these skills and tools you're learning this week right now in public health and for whatever is to come with this anti-science administration. Not just to survive it, right? Because the next 4 years, I know all of you want to still achieve your goals. You want to have work-life balance. You want to not miss out on moments with your family, and you don't have to. So this isn't about just like white knuckling and surviving. This is about thriving, even with everything happening politically. There's 3 things I want you to do to get the most out of this week. Show up live, participate both in the live session and in the daily challenge activities. So that's number 3. So show up live, participate, and do the daily activities. I promise you, if you do these 3 things this week, you will see a reduction in your overwhelm. You will feel some relief. What you get out of this week is what you put into it. So you signed up because you know you need help. You know this can help you. And now I want you to help yourself by giving it 100%. So before we get into what creates your overwhelm and how to reduce it, I want to hear from all of you. How does being overwhelmed by work impact your life? Drop in the chat. Stop taking breaks or exercising, interrupting sleep patterns, no energy, weekends or evenings, harder to make healthy choices like getting outside or engaging in hobbies. I'm less patient. I'm a less available mom, makes me physically sick. Yeah. Lack of energy, insomnia, substance use, can't show up how I want to for the people that matter most, not enough energy at the end of the day, health conditions, yeah, positive mindset. I'm guessing it impacts your positive mindset. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to talk about how to address all of this through reducing your overwhelm. And I'm going to share some examples, not just today, but throughout this week of other women who've come through my program and how they've been able to make changes to all the areas you all are talking about: health, family, hobbies, relationships, and so many other things. Before we talk about what is creating your overwhelm and how to change that, I want everyone here to get a deeper understanding of why addressing overwhelm is so important. So we're going to do a really quick, simple and easy 4-question assessment. So this is called the overwhelm factor. This is a shorter version of a 16-question assessment that women in my program do at the beginning and the middle and the end of the program to track the positive changes they're seeing in reducing overwhelm, leaving work at work, feeling more peaceful at home. Now, as I said, throughout this week, I will show you some examples from the women in my program, some of the data from the program and the impact it has. And the reason I do that is because you can only create what you know is possible. And I know there's probably not many people in your office, in your organization, that are models that it's possible to have less overwhelm, to have work-life balance. And so if you're not seeing that at work, it's very hard to believe that it's possible. But it is possible. Just no one's taught you the skills and the tools and the habits to make it a reality. So that's why I like to share these examples, so you start to really see it's possible for you and you're in the right place to learn those skills and tools. But first, you need to understand the changes you do need to make. And this 4-question assessment we're going to do, I want you to use it as a starting point to really see where this week you can start to prioritize some changes. So it's very simple and easy. You're going to answer 4 quick questions. You're going to tally your answers, and then you're going to learn your burnout risk. So you can grab a piece of scrap paper, rip it off the corner of something, a Post-it note. You could use the Notes app in your phone, whatever works for you. You're just going to write down 4 numbers. So here's the simple rating scale. We have a 1 to 5 scale because we're going to be asking you a frequency question. So if your answer is never, you write down the number 1. If your answer is rarely, you write down the number 2. If it's sometimes, you write down the number 3. If it's often, you write down the number 4. And if it's very often, you write down the number 5. So for each question I ask, just write down the number that's associated with the frequency you've experienced it. Do not overthink this, okay? This is very simple. You don't have to go to your calendar to answer these questions. And I want you to be honest with yourself. There is no shame and there's no judgment here. And I promise you, everyone else here has the same or very similar answers to you. So I want you to think about, during the last 3 months, January to March, how often did these things happen to you? So the first one, you worked so much that it felt like too much for your mind, your body, or emotions. So if this was never, you write down a 1. If this was very often, you write down a 5, and everything in between. Don't overthink this. Write down the first answer that comes to mind. Number 2, the past 3 months, I've had a hard time resting or taking a break. Number 3, when I tried to rest or take a break, I felt guilty or selfish. Write down how frequently you experience that. And number 4, I didn't feel rested even when I took a break or took time off. Now just write down your scores to yourself. I see some people putting their scores in the chat. Don't do that right now. Write them down for yourself on a piece of scrap paper. And then what you're going to do is, after you have all your 4 numbers, tally them up, add them up. Your total score should be between a 4 and a 20. So if you answered never or 1 for all questions, you'd be at a 4. If you'd answered 5 for all questions, you'd be at a 20, and everything in between. Now I want you to do is drop your total score, not your individual score, total score into the chat. 12, 15, 13, 18, 20, another 18, 15, 11, 16, 15, 12, 15, yep, 12, 11, okay, 8, 15, all right. So yeah, a lot of common themes here. So let's talk about what this means. So if you scored in a 16 to a 20, you're in what I call the danger zone. You are not just overwhelmed, you are burnt out, and it's very, very likely you don't realize this, because burnout really is a spectrum. The good news is you are here. You are doing this challenge and you can change the score. The women I work with go from the danger zone to the safe zone in just a few months. If you fall into the 12 to 15 range, you're on the edge. Overwhelm is nearly all-consuming, even if you don't realize it, because it's become your norm. And burnout is fast approaching. Again, you can totally change this. You can get to a place where you come home after a day of work and laugh with your spouse instead of complaining about work. You can stop being those roommates who just pass in the night with no intimacy and get back to really being connected. And you're going to learn how to do this week. If you scored a 9 to 11, you're walking the path. You're starting to feel worn out. You might be feeling like it's coming with everything happening in public health, and it could get worse if you don't make changes. And I'm so glad you're here. Now, if you scored a 4 to an 8, you're in the safe zone, right? I don't think we had many people who scored here. And for folks who do score here and come to this challenge, a lot of times it's like, I want to prevent getting worse. But everyone can be in the safe zone and stay here. When I hit burnout in 2017, I would have been at a near 20, and I got out of it to the safe zone, and I've stayed there ever since. And all the women who come through my program do the same thing. Now, it's not going to happen in 1 week, right? But that's okay. This is a good starting point. So let's talk about why you're overwhelmed, so we're all on the same page. This is the foundation to this whole week. It is not because of your job. It's not because of your to-do lists or your boss or anything else external, even the changes in politics happening in public health. It is not something that happens to you. It's not an external problem. It's not a cold you catch. It is something you are creating. You and I, we're all creating. And listen, some of you, your defenses might be coming right up as I say this. That was me when I learned this too. Here's the thing. This is really good news. Because if it was just external, if it was because of your boss or because of the politics, you'd be screwed. You'd be shit out of luck because there's not much you can do to change those things. But when we are the ones creating our own overwhelm, that means we can change it because we control ourselves. You just have to learn how. So this is actually really good news. So if you feel that defense coming up, first of all, totally normal, but also this is really good news that you can change it yourself. Overwhelm is really created by your thinking. What we think, the thoughts that we have, what our brain tells us creates how we feel. And overwhelm essentially is a feeling. It's an emotion. I use feeling and emotion interchangeably. What you think determines how you feel. The thoughts you are thinking right now creates the overwhelm you are experiencing. Again, this is really good news because you can change your thinking. And you're going to learn how to this week. You're going to start practicing this week. And this is where you take back your agency and power and control over how you feel no matter what's happening around you. So here's what creates the feeling of overwhelm. All these thoughts that we might have about the challenges we're facing. So I'm never going to catch up. It's impossible to get all my work done. There's not enough time. Everything is falling apart. Public health is being undermined. There's nothing I can do. These are just some examples. Your brain, when it tells you these thoughts or similar ones, they feel true, but they aren't necessarily objective, universal facts. And how do we know? Thousands of people out there do not have these thoughts and they do not feel overwhelmed, including other public health professionals. Why? Because they are just thinking and believing something else. They're believing I can figure this out. Everything is temporary. I can get through this. I can use my time wisely. I've overcome challenges before. Thoughts that create empowerment and motivation and confidence and determination, not overwhelm. This is why if you've tried time management approaches or productivity tools, it hasn't really worked to reduce your overwhelm long-term and sustainably. Because those things help manage your time, they do not help manage your mind. Your mind is the reason you are feeling overwhelmed. Yes, the challenges you face in your job and we're facing in public health are real. We are not denying that at all. But the thoughts you think in response to the challenges you face is what determines whether or not you feel overwhelmed. Which again, I'm going to say this many times this week, this is good news because you can change your response, your thoughts in reaction to challenges to reduce your overwhelm. Now, often I get questions like, well, how can I differentiate between a thought being valid but not true? I want to be very clear. Every thought and feeling you have is 100% valid. We're not denying the validity of thinking and feeling the way you do. What we want to talk about is, are the thoughts and feelings you're having helpful? Are they helping you? Let me explain what I mean. So let's say the challenge you're facing is you have 4 meetings on your calendar and a grant report due tomorrow. You may not have a lot of control over that challenge, over the meetings or when the due date is for the grant report. But you do have control over your response to that challenge, what you are thinking and what you are feeling. So when your brain says, well, there's not enough time, you feel overwhelmed. Not because of the meetings or the grant report, but because of your thought about it, which creates overwhelm. It is totally valid to think there's not enough time. It is totally valid to feel overwhelmed. But is it helpful? What happens when we feel overwhelmed? Typically, it shuts us down. We struggle to prioritize what to do when. We struggle to stay focused. We often end up on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, distracting ourselves, doom scrolling. We forget things. The result is we don't do quality work. We procrastinate. We get behind on work. We make mistakes. So typically, overwhelm and the thoughts creating it aren't helping us. Versus, let's say it's the same exact challenge. 4 meetings and a grant report. But instead, your thought and reaction is, I can figure this out. And you really believed it. Okay? If you really believe that thought, you would probably feel determined. Now, I'm sharing this example just to illustrate how what creates your feelings is your thought, not to say you have to think this way. So if you are really believing I can figure this out and you feel determined and not overwhelmed, it's equally as valid, but it's more helpful. Because when you feel determined, what happens? What does that emotion drive? It drives you to get started, to prioritize your work, to problem solve, to think more clearly, to ask for help, to not get distracted, to stay focused. When we are determined, we don't waste as much time, we get work done, we don't procrastinate, we don't fall behind. This is the same for anything you are feeling overwhelmed about, right? HHS departments being eliminated, more people being laid off, NIH grants being canceled, whatever it may be. Those are challenges, yes, we're not denying that. And they are largely, if not completely, out of your direct control. But the thoughts you have in response to those challenges determines how you will feel, which determines how you will show up, the decisions you make, the actions you will take. If you are thinking everything's falling apart, everything's ending, there's nothing I can do, this is hopeless, you are going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to struggle to figure out how to respond to challenges, let alone overcome them. But if you are thinking things like, I can figure this out, everything is temporary, I've gone through hard things before, I'm smart enough to figure this out, similar thoughts like that, you will feel determined or confident or motivated, and you will figure out a way to overcome the challenges you're facing. Now, I'm illustrating all of this to just show you where your agency and power lies. You always get to decide what to think and feel. That is your choice. I just want to show you that you have that choice, you have that agency, and it makes a huge difference in the actions you take, the decisions you make, how you show up to the challenges you're facing, and how you overcome them. So I want you all to decide right now, how do you want to show up to the challenges, not just our field is facing, but that you're facing? Do you want to show up hopeless? Do you want to show up overwhelmed, panicked? If not, how do you want to show up? I want you to name it and put it in the chat. Do you want to show up determined or confident or hopeful or strategic? What is it? Drop in the chat how you want to show up. Energetic, competent, strategic, calm, a strong leader, calm and positive, confidence, yes. Icy in a good way, ooh, I like that. Hopeful and calm, yeah. Ready, exactly. These are all great. These emotions are much more helpful when we face challenges than overwhelm. And what you're learning today and this whole week, again, is not about believing specific thoughts or telling you you have to feel this way. You get to decide. And it's not about thinking everything's sunshine and rainbows and there's no problems. No. It's about seeing where you have agency and control to decide, what do I want to think about this? Do I want to think about it in a way that's helping me? What do I want to feel about this way? This. How can I feel in a way that helps me? Which means you have agency and control. You get to decide. That's what we're learning this week. So I want to share why learning the skill is so important and so effective. In my program, although I work with folks in the program for 6 months, we track their progress along the way. And within 3 months, women report a 40% increase in experiencing mental rest. What does that mean? No more overwhelm, more mental space to be present with your kids without worrying about work, no more stress causing you to be short and reactive to your spouse. And when you have mental rest, all the ways overwhelm impacts your life that you all shared earlier around your health or how you're being short or how you're not prioritizing working out or you're impatient, all those things start to disappear. How? How does this work? It starts with what you're learning, not just today, but this whole week that we're going to keep building on and taking it and mastering it and having it become a habit that you have. So I want you to take Linda. She went through my program in 2022, so it's been a couple years. And here's what she says, because of the support of the program. She went from being stressed and anxious to setting boundaries and resting. And this part is really important because she was able to identify the root of her thoughts. The thoughts driving her overwhelm, driving her exhaustion, driving her stress, and change them. She initially signed up for a consultation for my program to be considered, and we created a plan on that call for her to learn partially what you all are learning this week, and then some additional stuff we cover in the program, and then master it. She joined my program, and each week we met, and I gave her step-by-step support. The weekly coaching calls that we do in the program kept her accountable, and she had access to not just what you're learning this week, but many, many other tools and skills. This is 100% possible and available to you. It doesn't require a new boss or a new job or leaving public health or waiting till retirement or waiting till the next presidential term, because I know none of you want to spend the next 4 years not achieving your goals, not being present with your kids or your family, not having fun, not living a joyous life, not making an impact. So here's your first implementation practice, what I call a daily challenge, how you're going to put the skills you're learning this week into practice. So when your brain offers you a thought that creates overwhelm, I want you to ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Is this thought helpful? So for example, when your brain says, I don't have enough time, you're looking at your to-do list or your calendar and your brain says, I don't have enough time. Stop and ask yourself, is this thought helping me? This is very simple and easy to do. It takes less than 30 seconds. When you notice you're feeling overwhelmed and your brain is saying, well, public health is doomed, there's nothing I can do, this is hopeful, stop and ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it helping me get my work done? Is it helping me reduce my stress? Is it helping me leave work at work? Is it helping me be an effective leader? Notice what comes up. The purpose of this activity is not to necessarily change your thought. That takes some time. If you've tried positive affirmations in the past and it hasn't worked, this is why, because you can't just jump there. We have to take some baby steps to interrupt what we're currently thinking. And the first step is building awareness. Are the thoughts that I'm thinking all day helpful? Are they helping me show up the way that I want to? As you all said, you want to be strategic, you want to be calm, you want to be feisty, you want to be a great leader. Is this thought, are the thoughts I'm thinking helping me do that? This is the first step, and we're going to build on this the rest of the week. Now, tonight, as some of you do this, some of you will feel some immediate relief, and that's great, and it will give you some hope for change. Others of you, I like to be honest, might feel a bit overloaded. Maybe you haven't really looked at your thoughts that way or built that awareness or self-reflected that way. That's okay. That's totally normal if it feels a bit overloaded. The more you do this, the more you practice this and the other implementation activities I'm going to give you this week, the more relief you'll get and the more changes you will see. We're building a new habit, you're building a new skill. It takes a little bit of time. So I want you to take it from Jessica. She completed my program several years ago, and she took everything that you're learning this week and she went deep. And she became a master at these skills and tools to where they're second nature. And here's what she shares. I felt like my brain harassed me. Some of you might relate to that. Felt very limiting. But after coaching, I knew my initial thoughts weren't true or weren't the whole truth. I don't have to make them true. It is really freeing. Right? This is what we're talking about, the agency over your own brain of what to believe in a way that helps you. With today's challenge, you're going to start doing this. So I want to do a quick check-in before we get to the rest of today's materials. Drop in the chat what's your biggest takeaway so far, or if there's anything you're struggling with from what we've covered. Again, this is part of that implementation for you to actually learn and practice the skills. My brain is holding me hostage. Okay, we're going to talk about that actually. So I'm glad you brought that up. I get that a lot. Your mindset thoughts have an effect on your level of burnout. Absolutely. So much so. We're going to talk a lot more about that on Thursday. Questioning overwhelmed thoughts instead of just believing them. Yes. Building that skill and agency. Such great reflection. I'm responsible for the way I let things make me feel. Yeah. And you have agency to change it. And sometimes we want to feel angry, and sometimes we want to feel sad, and sometimes we choose to feel overwhelmed, but you have the choice. The skill set or display being seen as, this skill set or display being seen as a poor professional or non-professional. Not sure if I understand that reflection, so if you can rephrase that, that'd be helpful. I have power. It's internal, not external. Still struggling with how to change thoughts. Okay, so we're not getting to changing thoughts quite yet, so don't worry about that. We're not there yet. Don't you worry. Just start with building awareness around your thoughts. And then we're going to talk Thursday and Friday about the balance of, yes, there are external challenges and external things at play, including systems of oppression. And how do we balance that with our internal agency over how we think and feel? Because I get that question a lot. Need to take time to pay attention to my thoughts. Struggling with questioning if I can still change with ADHD diagnosis. Absolutely. Okay, I get this a lot. I have a lot of clients who have neurodiverse brains for a number of different things. And this is a big fear because you have been socialized your whole life to believe something's wrong with your brain. Nothing is wrong with your brain. You have a human brain. What's wrong is that the world was really designed with one type of brain in mind. And so you've gotten the message that something's wrong with your brain. There's nothing wrong with your brain. Your brain has thoughts just like any other brain. And you can use these skills and tools. For sure. So one of the things that want to be brought up, which I want to quickly address, is around the idea of my brain holding me hostage, or some people might say my brain's harassing me. And tonight, as you practice the daily challenge, if you've never built awareness around what you're thinking, you might start to feel that way. Okay. What I always like to make clear is that this is not a battle with our brain. It's not like the brain is bad and it's a problem and I hate it. No, we are partners with our brain. Your brain is always trying to help you. And you're going to learn more about that tomorrow, actually. It's always trying to help you. But you need to be in charge of your brain, not your brain in charge of you, right? So if we're thinking about we're driving to a destination, you need to be in the driver's seat and your brain's like in the passenger seat reading you the roadmap. And sometimes the brain like tells you to go the wrong way and you got to correct it. We don't want your brain in that driver's seat with you in the passenger. So this is what you're learning today. So that's a very common response. Okay, someone says this is so validating. So glad. So tomorrow we're going to build on what you're learning today. You're going to understand a little bit more about your brain's motivation, particularly how it is always trying to help you, but sometimes the way it does it isn't actually helpful, right? It's just kind of like a misfiring, you could say. So you're going to learn more about that tomorrow. Right now, your brain is a bit more motivated to feel overwhelmed than not. And this is part of the reason why. There's kind of some missing piece around understanding your brain and being able to work with your brain and leverage your brain. So tomorrow we're going to talk about that. Why is your brain choosing overwhelm so much? And how to understand your brain a little bit better to be able to shift to more motivation or commitment or determination or other more helpful emotions. And when you do this, you can be more productive. You can get more done. When you get more done without hustling, you get more time back for you. You have more quality time with your family or for yourself or working out. So is this thought helping me? The goal is not to change your thought. The goal is to just build awareness around your thoughts and how they're impacting you. I will see you all tomorrow. We're going to build on this even more. So glad you came. Thanks all for your participation. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to keep working on this. Bye, everyone.